Alrighty. We're going to look at triangles being congruent. Okay? Now, unlike other figures, for triangles to be congruent, we only need to know three things. Depends on what we know, what we're going to use. So if we know that a side, an angle, and a side are congruent, and to be side, angle, side, you need two sides and the angle in between. Not just some other random angle, two sides and the angle that is made up by those two sides. So the angle in between the two sides, so it's side, angle, side, side, angle, side. If you know that two angles and a side, or two sides and an angle, are congruent to two sides and an angle, then we can say those triangles are congruent. Okay? Then we can say those triangles are congruent. So if we go in the order of RST, then we have to go from the 2 mark side to the angle to the 1 mark side. So then it would be XYZ. Order is important. Now, the next one is CPCTC. That is not a way to prove triangles congruent. Okay, so don't put it down for a way that triangles are congruent. What it is once we prove two triangles congruent, so once they're congruent, then we can say that this side's congruent to this side's congruent to this side, this side's congruent to this side, this angle's congruent to this angle's congruent to this, and this angle's congruent to this. The corresponding sides and the corresponding angles are all congruent to each other. So we'll abbreviate it CPCTC. So once it's proven that the triangles are congruent, so you have to say the triangles are congruent first, then you can start saying sides and angles are congruent. All right. So Allie cut two triangles from a rectangular piece of metal along a dashed line to make earrings. Okay, so she's making earrings that way. Okay. Are the earrings the same size and shape? Well, if it's a true rectangle, we know side AB is congruent to side CD. We know that side BC is congruent to AD because it's a rectangle. And if it's a rectangle, we know rectangles have right angles. So then angle A is congruent to angle C. So I have side angle side here. I have side angle side here. So yes, the triangles are congruent by side angle side. Another one that we'll have today is side, side, side. If all three sides of one triangle are congruent to all three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, then the triangles are congruent. So here we have three sides congruent to three sides. So once we know that these triangles are congruent by side, 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 and side, 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 then the corresponding angles are congruent. So how big is angle X? 92. All right. So why are these two congruent? Because of side, side, side. Why are these two congruent? Side, angle, side. Two sides of the angle in between. Why are these two congruent? It's a trick question. This is side, side, angle because we don't know the angle in between. If you try to use side, side, angle, you make an angle, side, side out of yourself. And nobody wants to be an angle, side, side. And a couple of you caught that. Others are going, what's he talking about? You don't want to be an angle, side, side. Do you, Tristan? No. Okay, you don't want to be known as an angle, side, side. So don't use side, side, angle, or you'll be known as an angle, side, side. Okay, you got spelling down now, right? Okay. What about this one? That is side, angle, side. Because we know two sides and the angle in between, two sides and the angle in between. This is two sides, but we don't know the angle in between. Okay? So this is none. Okay. What about this one? This one is side, angle, side. Okay? You have two sides and the angle in between. So you have side angle side and side side side. Okay? So that's what we'll be doing today on today's exercises. I think it got released this morning, so I think you guys can get started on it. See if it's out there.